Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here for my Monday video where we are doing Jolly Bars. Jolly Bars every Monday, but it's wrapping up. It's coming close because we have the very last block. If you are doing the table runner version that the Fat Quarter Shop has, this block is the back, which would make a really neat reversible runner. You could have that as a bed runner too. If you wanted more than one block of this the friendship bracelet, you could do a couple of them. So this is the book that we're working with. If you're just joining me, we are at the end of the sew along, getting almost to the end of the sew along. The block today is the friendship bracelet, which is this one in the book, and it is, ta-da, the one that I've been doing as a full quilt. So let me just do this. So the block is more scrappy on mine. You know, I did each unit, each piece in the block as a different fabric. So there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 fabrics in it. But for the sampler that we're doing, I am just going to be using, I think it's 3. Yeah, we're just going to have 3 different fabrics. And I showed you that last Monday, my options and what I picked. But I want to tell you a couple of things about this. One is that I was a total dork. Like, are you surprised? If you're here a while, you know that I'm just like everybody else. Stuff goes on and I'm like, what? So I had these strips hanging up on my design wall, and I kept looking at them and looking at them, and I'm like, what are those for? And I left them there and left them there. And finally I figured out, well, they are the inner border to go on this friendship bracelet. Duh. So, and then I have the border fabric that I'm going to use. So let me just hold that up. So there'll be the white, and then I will have this border fabric. I know it's pinned on this quilt, so it's a little hard to see, but that'll be the border fabric. Isn't that pretty? And this is the one that I might send to my niece that's getting married. I might. It's a nice lap quilt. I think I'll do a bit of a wide border on it, and then hopefully I have enough of this for the back. So that is from the, sort of the bonus one I was doing as we went along. So let's get into looking at the friendship bracelet. So I picked, here we go. I picked, we don't have a lot of fabric left in your Jolly Bar. Remember, the Jolly Bars are 5x10 pre-cut from the Fat Quarter Shop, exclusive to them, which is half of a layer cake. And so this is all I have left. I have a couple pieces. I had this black that I had cut, but because I thought I might use it and then didn't, and a little candy corn, another piece of that black. So this is all I have. And I am not going to, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might just cut them into scraps. I might make maybe some mug rugs just with this to go along. I also had all of these cut and sew pieces that were left, and so they're for the border. And I sorted them so that each unit has I think there's 9, but a couple of them have no black on it, and I'm totally okay with that. You'll see my picture then of everything up on the wall. So they will go, here's another one there's no black on one side. Because of whichever block that was that they came off of. So I have all of these, and we're going to look at the border for this in a bit, but first let's see the candy. This is the kitty Halloween fabric. It's called kitty, like candy corn. It's called kitty corn, C-O-R-N, for those of you who can't understand me. We will have on the friendship bracelet, there'll be these units. I'm just sort of mocking them up here so you can see, and then this guy will be in the middle. So I'll have these two, and then this in the middle, and this will generate more sew and flip half square triangles off of it, which I will just put into my scraps. And then the block will, for my layout, here, we'll have some border fabric on either side, some black on either side. Now I'm going to go and sew this up, And we'll then take a look at where it goes in the quilt because it's fantastic. And I have the block. Ta-da! The friendship bracelet. It is our last piece in the puzzle for the center of the quilt. Oops, I gotta make the kitties right side up. Those kitties was upside down. There we go. So here's how it looks. Pretty excited about that. So let's talk about doing a little border around this. As I have on the pattern, if you, I put out a second version with a few more of the half square triangles and added a border. So I am debating, here we go, I'm debating doing this polka dot, and I could do the inner border as a polka dot as well. As you can see from where you're watching this on the video, those dots are fairly close together, and so they, you know, they are kind of electric, you know, or, you know, to make your eyes wiggle, you know, they could be like that. So I have some other options. I'm not sure. I have this dot, which I don't have a lot of. I probably could get more, but I'd rather just squeeze it out of this. And I measured, and I think I could do it, but not for the inner. I could only do the outer border with this. So let me show you. I'll just hold it up here and you can see what it looks like. So there is, you know, I'll just pin it for a second. So that one's interesting because it is already, you can see it reads darker because there's more black. The silvery dots are more spaced out and erratic, and so it gives you a more black border, and I really like that. I could do the inner border with that dot still. I also have some of this stripe, which I think I have enough of that. I could actually do the outer border. I don't think I have any of them that I could do the inner and the outer border. And I'm not buying fabric for this. This is it. We've got to find something I own. So there is the stripe, which is really nice. I had bought that to do the binding on my Dear Jane. Yeah, that's what I bought it for, yeah. Now I also have this one, which is nice. It's very muted. I think most of these are half a yard or a half a yard with something cut out of it. So this one will read much darker. It's got sort of a tan stripe in it. So there we go. Put that up there so you can see how that looks. I also had gotten out this plaid, which I have a lot more of, but I don't think it's all wrong. It would have been nice if I'd used it in the blocks a little bit, like if it had been in that fabric line, but I think for the most part it reads very gray and light when it goes up against all that dark background. So that is a no-go. We're gonna put that one over there. So tell me if you, I mean, that one's not bad here, but I feel like I would need it on the inner border. It doesn't really match the polka dots. It's like I need it. It's like either that or nothing. I'm sort of leaning to this one to maybe try it for the outside border, but I know there's not enough for the inside border. But I could put this stripe as the inside border and the binding, and you know, so that would be doing like the binding on here. So that's a possibility, or just go with the polka dot, which I have plenty to do, the border and the inner border. And then I might just get black, just do black for the binding. If I did that polka dot, just do the solid black for the binding. So there you go. Now I want to show you also that this block looks so much different with the fabrics being more controlled and color-wise for one block with repeats. So unlike the full quilt that I did where each unit is a different fabric, here they're all sort of this peach tone, which I think turned out really nice for this spot in the quilt. So that guy is there. And if you're just joining, this is what we're working on, sort of the ending. We're wrapping up this Jolly Bar 3. Now I will be working on this probably for at least 2 more Mondays, if not 3, because I have other stuff. So it's kind of like, it's not as high a priority. I'll get a little bit done, but I have to keep taking things off the wall. And there's also a table runner version of, this is my layout, but there's also the table runner version. And you might like that one instead of this layout if you don't want this wall hanging or small. It'd be a small lap quilt. All right, let's get cozy here because I promised you, and I have it. So I promised you to talk about the next block Wednesday because I have the supply list. I have the fabric picked out and the name. I just don't, I don't have more than that. But it starts in July, the first Wednesday in July. So we have a little bit of time, but that'll give you time to pick up fabric that you love. And the theme is the summer soiree because we're going to be working on it in the summer for 12 weeks. So I wanted to pick a fabric line that was summery. And my friend Joanna Figueroa has this amazing shirtings. She calls it fig and shirtings, which are sort of a look at, they're sort of her classic look, but also have a bit of a, I would say a 30s feel a little bit, which is where I think the shirtings part comes from. Okay, so let's just open this baby up and take a look at it. Now this fabric is in stock and you can get a fat quarter bundle like I have. I'm going to be working from this plus this plus a solid. So Bella solid that I link you to over at my website today and at the project page. So what we have are a lot of pretty yellows in this line. I think that they're gorgeous. See, this is like a really sampling. See, it's got like the 30s feel. I think that they're really wonderful. And this is a feel very much like an old shirtings fabric. And then a few classics. These are very classic Joanna fabrics. And then here's another one that feels very much like an old shirtings type fabric. And I think the blocks are going to be great because I want to use the B12 blocks and then the setting. And I want to use a lot of these lighter colors from her line, with the solid. Whoops, there we go, with the solid. So we have these really great oranges, and they're soft oranges. And then here's some more with the white background. See, isn't that cool? This is kind of like an old linen feel, and I like that. So look at this. This is wonderful. And I have some suggestions for backings. So one of the backings that I got this one for backing, but there's two other ones that there's plenty of the fabric, so I'm listing all of those. Here are the greens in this line. Aren't they? Oh, look at this. This is just yummy, yummy, yummy for summer. A summer soiree. And if you're not familiar with a soiree is like an evening party, usually in somebody's home, often with dancing and lots of good conversation. I think we're all ready for that, right? Look here. Isn't this gorgeous? Red, red, everything red. I love the color red. So let's see, what else do we got? So now there's also blue in this one. So we've got this red and blue, very, very wonderful. That's where I want to use, like, let's say here, we get, like if I was doing a block that would have maybe these two fabrics, maybe these three fabrics. Look at this. Isn't that great? One of the blocks might have that. But she's got a lot of different colors in here. I like a little bit of black in it. And there's also some black prints in the line. Blue, here's this great blue. I think of this as, whoop, there's one more, this summery blue. A few grays. So you've got the same prints now with some of them with gray and red, which is just super classic. Leaning down into the red, black. There we go. There's our black. Let's get a little bit of black in here. Now I will be using that fat quarter bundle, and of course we are not going to use every single piece of it. Some of it won't get used, but I like to work for our Wednesday sew along with a fat quarter bundle plus a background because I think that's the most efficient way for us to play around with fabric. So you won't need, I forget how many pieces, I'll put it up there, are in this line. You could get away with a few less, a line that has a bit less than that. and we want to have this great big chunk of background fabric. And then if you like that line and you want a matching backing, be sure you pick up a backing at the same time, because you know how it goes. Once these are gone, they're gone. But the bundle, this fabulous bundle, is there right now. I will be talking more about the summer soiree as we go along before we get to our first Wednesday in July. And what's fun is that Kimberly Jolly told me she's going to sew along with us too on this. So I am so excited to see her blocks. I don't know if she's going to use the same fabric I am or if she'll use something else. But the neat thing is there's enough here to play around so that you can get you can work with the colors and play with the colors. They all coordinate beautifully. And that's the fun of these Block Wednesdays, is working with those color families. So I'm excited to have that out there. I don't often get out there this early, it's like 2 months. So this is just fantastic to be able to give you that much notice as to what's going on. I have been continuing on the crumb journey. So I'm working with a lot of the little ones. I've got them, all these little pieces up on top of the sewing machine there, just because it's easier. But let me show you. I have a couple of blocks that I did. These are less color defined. You know, there's quite a bit of mix from the fabrics I cut from the backings and bindings of these book projects. And so this is one of them, plus just other things that I've been cutting here. Here's another one, it's got a bit more blue. And now I'm playing around. This is the one I'm playing around with now. I'm doing strips. So I'm doing these strips and then sewing them together to get it wide enough. Trying to use up all these little pieces. This takes time. It takes time, but it's okay. I like it. I'm having fun with it. It's good because I said I'm going to do it for a full year, so I better be having fun. I also did a little bit more on the Miss Raccoon here. Whoops. I didn't get to the other one yet. So I've got this guy, but I didn't get any more of those made. But the raccoon, I did. And I also want to show you that there is a trim line, and I don't think I made that clear because I was trimming out around the very outside, but the final block, you need to trim off this white part here, which it says trim on this line. See that? So you will trim it and it'll look like this guy. And that is your final size of the block. But I have to do a couple of these, maybe like a baby quilt, or a little child's quilt with kind of an I Spy. And I've got horses, this horse fabric for the middle of this one, and do the socialites block from this week, because it's fun. Why not? It's fun. Got to do fun stuff. Oh, I have a little extra tip for you. So on reading the patterns, reading patterns. So anyways, here it is. I have a little tip about how I go about reading a pattern to get the sizes I need to cut for just maybe one block or just a few blocks. And instead of trying to read the cutting directions, which might say cut 50 of these, cut 62 of those, I just want to know how many I want for the block. And what I do is I use the diagrams. So I go to the diagrams and I see what the pieces are that we're talking about. This is what? A and E. Then I'll go over here to the cut sheet, find A and E, and see what the size is. Looking at the diagram then gets me what I need to make that one block or just a few of the blocks without having to weed through all of the cutting directions. So that's just a little tip on how I handle that. Meaning to tell you that, and I had not gotten around to it. So there you go, a little extra tip on how I look at a pattern to get the only one block. I just want to make one block. Tell me what I need for one block. All right. I had a little moment of hyperventilation the other day when I was looking for my wonder clips. I went over here to this pin holder. Usually looks like this. It usually has all of these wonder clips around the outside. I have this one and I have one on the other side of the table, so I'm working on the other side of the table, so I have two of them. And I looked there and there were no wonder clips, none. And I started looking around and I'm like, where am I using all of these things? But slowly I have finished up stuff like I was, for the Jolly Bar and these other book projects. And slowly now it's filled back up and they're here. But I just had that weird feeling. It's like, what did I do with them? Where are they? How could that be? How could they be gone? It's like, it doesn't make sense. So maybe you've run into that. Maybe I'm not alone. Like this is the sewing fairies coming in and using all my wonder clips in the middle of the night. They just need to return them if they are. Silly, silly, silly. So I want to show you another bit of fabric because it's actually the quilt that I'm having to remake is one that I'm going to have fabric that I'm using for a project for me, just for me, because it's with a panel. So let me show you the panel first. And this is a fabric line called Dwell, D-W-E-L-L, from Ginger Burr is the designer. Okay, here it is. It is a panel with these great sayings, and they're big blocks. Whee, come on. So here we go. So there's 4 big blocks. Dwell in the possibilities. Yeah, I'll let you read them. I can't read them from behind. It's the sweet, simple things of life, which are the real ones after all. Laura Ingalls Wilder. So there is, and then here's the next one. There's 4 of them. There's 4 of these panels. So here's the next one, which I love the artwork about it. Ginger Burr has just this, I just love her artwork. The big monarch, I guess it's a monarch. Is that a monarch butterfly? I don't know. I'm in love with this butterfly. And then the last panel in here. Now she has a pattern, which is this. So I am making this for me. And I might hang it in my bedroom, our bedroom. I have a bad habit of saying mine. It's mine. And so, or I might hang it in the hallway. But I just have to make this for me. Now, I took a look at these stars, and they're crazy, right? They're so easy. She has a great sew and flip, layered effect to get these. And I am using these fabrics for the project I'm remaking. And so when I had to order some to remake that project, I need to get enough that I could do this. And I want to show you a few pieces of it, because if you have not bought Dwell, this one is all sayings from there's Louisa May Alcott. There's just really cool stuff. I like this glitter. I don't know, glitter comes and goes, but right now it's in and I love it. This comes in several prints. One of my favorites here is this floral, which is her artwork, and I love the colors of it. It's got that blue and that peach in it, all in the black. There's some more speckles. Oops, let me get you down. Some speckles. There's the words again, but on a lighter color. There's a gold just for that print. Here's this one. I don't know, it's very Art Deco. And I love the green. Green, mustardy, yellow green, like an old gold green. And the peaches again. And then this word text. I got a big piece of the word text on. Got some Emily Dickinson there are sayings, lots of different sayings. Dwell in the possibility, which is true, right? That's how we all live. Dwell in the possibilities, or at least that's how I try to live. What are the possibilities? I want to know what they are, and I want to take advantage of them. All right, my friend, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out and listening through everything. Be sure to download that supply list for the soiree, their summer soiree. Have a great day. I love you. Mwah. See you online.